I'm Vivien Diniz with the Investing News Network. Speaking with me today is Peter Kowalczyk, CEO of Ocean Floor Geophysics and consultant for exploration and geophysics with Geoscience BC. Peter, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Vivien.
So Peter, we're going to talk today a little bit about ocean floor deposits. And we don't hear very much about submarine massive sulphide deposits. Can you tell us a little bit more about this exploration?
Sure. Submarine massive sulphide deposits are really a new style of deposit that was discovered in the 1980s. And they are what are on land VMS deposits, volcanogenic massive sulphide deposits, which are very rich deposits on land, but they're being formed today in the deep ocean. So they're deposits that are associated with black smokers, and they form basically high-grade piles of rubble on the ocean floor.
So is it the same type of exploration that you're doing just underwater equivalent?
It's a little bit different. You're in 1,000 meters to 2,500 meters of water, and you're using robots. Geophysics is important, but geology and geochemistry is important as well. And the tools that are available to us are fairly well established now to go out and survey for and to discover and then to map and drill submarine massive sulfides.
So in terms of cost, are they sort of the same type of cost that you would have involved with a land deposit, or SMS deposits a little bit different?
Cost structure is a little bit different. The reason is that the exploration is very much accelerated. You stake some claims, and then you go out and do some preliminary exploration with a ship, and then you go into a fairly concentrated program of exploration where you'll be using a ship with a robotic submarine or an autonomous underwater vehicle, one of these smart torpedoes, and you're supporting a ship. So your expenses can be $60,000 to $100,000 a day, and you need to mobilize a ship, take it to the site, and survey. But in a month or 2 months of work, you can achieve a tremendous amount. You don't have to drill 1,000-meter holes. You have the deposit lying on the ocean floor. It's a compact deposit, and you can come fairly quickly to an economic assessment of it. And the discovery rates are quite high. So if you look at, say, an expenditure of $2 to $5 million on land, you can spend that over 3 or 4 years fairly easily, and you are not very advanced. If you do that at sea, one or two, probably 2 campaigns of work, you can bring yourself to a decision point, and you can have resources that have been defined.
Oh, so it seems a little bit more closer to payoff for...
I think the risk-reward ratio these days is actually better at sea than it is on the land.
That's very interesting. So how about environmental risks? This seems to be a very big concern now on land, mostly. So how does environmental impact factor into ocean floor exploration? Is it the same?
The environmental constraints that companies have to meet are very similar. It depends on the regulatory situation where you are, but in the national economic zones of developed countries like New Zealand, Fiji, Tonga, Japan, or PNG, the rules are actually very similar to the rules on land. You need to do an environmental impact statement, and you need to go forward. I think the environmental problems are actually easier. You don't have tailings ponds. You're not stripping and moving large amounts of dirt. You haven't built an infrastructure. What you're doing is mining something which you can kind of think is a bit like a subsea gravel pit. You have to, the rocks are harder, but you have a very contained high-grade deposit that you pick up and move. So you take the whole deposit to the ship, you take it to an established mill on land, and the tailings go through established tailings infrastructure on land that has already been permitted. People think that every black smoker is different and that it's a very unique ecology. It is a unique ecology, but they're not different, and they're supported by the hot water that's flowing out. So these fields actually have quite short lives as hot water fields, and the submarine life moves from one to the other. If you're mining in one place and you're mining a small part of the ocean floor, the surrounding life actually comes back in quite quickly after you move it, and the long-term impact is not large. So my assessment, and it's my personal assessment, is that the environmental impact of mining a pound of copper in the ocean is less than the environmental impact of mining a pound of copper on land.
It seems it's more of a grab and go operation as opposed to like a dig out.
Well, it's compact, it's high grade, and you're not leaving anything behind that you have to then account for.
So how about then in terms of, you mentioned it depends on the jurisdiction, so are there geopolitical issues that are surrounding undersea exploration?
Yes, I mean, different countries have different national interests. Generally speaking, when you're in an exclusive economic zone of a particular country, and the important ones for this are the ones in the Ring of Fire on the Western Pacific, you're dealing with the politics, taxation regime, and environmental regime of that particular country. But there are also deposits that are found in the deep ocean, far from land, and they come under the International Seabed Authority, which is an arm of the United Nations. So I would say that private companies are reluctant to deal with the United Nations, but they already have established relations with national mining jurisdictions. Countries, for example, China, Germany, Russia, have staked claims in the deep ocean and are actively exploring for mineral deposits. And some companies have actually struck joint venture relationships with countries to explore in the deep ocean under the International Seabed Authority.
So are there a lot of companies doing this, would you say?
No, there's not. And I think that's a missed opportunity for investors.
But do you think that it's something that will be coming up in the future as land deposits become a bit more taken up?
It's already happening. My opinion is that the financial crisis in 2008 actually introduced a lot of caution into the investing community, and that the breakthrough will be when one company or country actually demonstrates the engineering ability to mine these deposits. Nautilus Minerals took that forward a long way, and then they ran into what I would describe as sovereign risk problems with Papua New Guinea. They still have very good assets outside PNG and tremendous exploration projects and discovered prospects. Japan has a active program. It's a national strategic objective to start subsea mining, and I think the Japanese will be mining by the year 2018.
That's pretty short term.
Yes, they're doing real work right now. They're testing equipment, and they've launched a ship, and they're mapping their resources.
Well, looks good. I'm hoping to see a lot more of this coming in the future.
Well, it's very interesting. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it's quite different from land mining, and it's a little bit of a change of pace.
It is different. I worked many years in land exploration. I was chief geophysicist for Placer Dome, and Placer became involved in this in 2005. I became interested when that project was going on, and then I've taken it forward, and I formed Ocean Floor Geophysics and have brought the technology to make it available to mining exploration groups.
Well, let's hope that technology sticks.
Good, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Peter.
Thanks.
That's Peter Kowalczyk for Ocean Floor Geophysics. I'm Vivien Diniz with Investing News Network. Thank you for joining me.